Welcome to today's Explainer. We've got a really fascinating mission for this deep dive. We're going to unpack the observation records of Tommy Yoshida, also known as Yoshida Tsutomu. We're looking at a specific IT incident that, honestly, at first glance, just looks like your standard run-of-the-mill digital hiccup. But when you really dig into it, it completely forces us to question our digital readiness and, frankly, the very foundation of modern work. Okay, before we jump in, we need to set a couple of ground rules for this exploration. First, we're not here to review specific AI tools today, and we're definitely not doing a cloud backup tutorial. And second, and this is key, we're going to leave our thoughts intentionally unresolved. Why? Well, because we are sitting right in the middle of this incredibly messy, transitional era. We're not trying to tie everything up with a neat little bow. Instead, across both the Japanese and international editions of Yoshida's work, the goal is to really deepen our contemplation. We want to ask, what is the actual value left to humans when machines can do almost everything else? So this all starts with what seemed like a totally ordinary Tuesday. You've got a third-party IT contractor doing some routine maintenance over at Japan's Ministry of Health, Labor, and Welfare. They make a standard configuration change and then just silence. There were no massive alarms, no explosions, just a massive swath of internal Microsoft Teams chat data gone, simply vanished, permanently unrecoverable. Now, in the professional IT world, human error isn't really a surprise, right? It's a mathematical given. People make mistakes. That's exactly why modern enterprise architecture is built with all these layers of defense. Backups, code reviews, staging environments. So looking at this incident, it's literally like building this massive, imposing safe with heavy, intricate locks on the front door, only to walk around back and realize the rear door has been left completely wide open, just swinging in the wind. But here's the thing. The true catastrophe wasn't losing some final PDF or a completed spreadsheet. Those documents usually survive on some other drive anyway. The real disaster was the absolute loss of context. Think about the psychology of how we actually use tools like Teams or Slack today. 5 years ago, sure, it was for casual banter, like, hey, where are we getting lunch? But today, these chat platforms are the invisible scaffolding of modern decision-making. They're the actual spaces where assumptions are challenged, where risks are debated, and where organizational responsibility is slowly pieced together. So, what happens when that chat data is permanently lost? The final output might survive on a server somewhere, but the rationale behind it turns into a complete black box. Imagine a major financial risk was taken. You have the signed contract, sure, but without the chat history, who actually knew about the budget overrun? Who approved it? What alternative paths were debated and tossed out? The output survives, but the human logic that produced it is completely erased. And this brilliantly illustrates a glaring governance paradox that Yoshida highlights across his notes. On the outside, administrative bodies demand rigid, tangible evidence from the public. They require all this physical friction, faxes, physical hunko stamps to verify intent, rules that are essentially carved in stone. But internally, their fluid cloud computing and chat logs are treated like ephemeral chatter. It's like they're written in water-soluble ink that just washes away with one bad keystroke. When you look at those thick binders of analog document management regulations that normally sit right next to these government computers, we're faced with a pretty uncomfortable truth. If this permanent data loss happened while all the rules in those binders were supposedly being followed, well, it means the rules are an illusion. They're obsolete, offering absolutely zero protection for modern cloud workflows. On the flip side, if the rules were actually adequate, then nobody was enforcing them. So either the regulations are obsolete or the human supervision is completely broken. Yoshida uses this data loss not just to critique current IT management, but as a bridge directly into the looming age of artificial intelligence. Because think about it. If we're already failing to protect the context of decisions made by actual human beings, what happens when we drop generative AI into this super fragile ecosystem? To really wrap our heads around this, let's introduce a concept. Let's call it the AI super intern. Imagine you hire an AI as a tireless, incredibly brilliant intern. Within seconds, this super intern can analyze global market data, it can draft complex legal briefs, create flawless presentation slides, and even propose massive shifts in business strategy. It's generating outputs at a scale, speed, and quality that a human team would literally need months to match. The sheer capability of it is absolutely mesmerizing. But here is the crucial point. What happens if the company adopts the intern's flawless strategy, and then 6 months later, it fails catastrophically? Who stands at the press conference, facing the cameras to apologize? Well, it's never the intern. The machine can do all the heavy lifting of creation. It can suggest, draft, optimize, but it fundamentally cannot take responsibility. It has no legal personhood, It has no career to ruin, and it has absolutely no moral capacity to absorb blame. Which leads us to a rather dark but honestly essential question. Who is the meat shield for the algorithm? It's always the human boss who takes the fall. The human is the one who has to take the intern's work, evaluate it, understand the risks, and finally stamp it with their approval. When the whole thing comes crashing down, the human is the one carrying the liability. And this brings us to a profound shift in how we need to view our own careers. We are right in the middle of a massive paradigm shift away from the traditional definition of human work. For decades, a worker's value was heavily tied to producing the final output, right? Writing the code, generating the spreadsheet, drafting the policy. But today, that intrinsic value is completely changing because the machine can just produce that final report instantly. So our job is no longer to write the document. Our job is to be the verifiable, indisputable proof of exactly why that document was approved in the first place. That means the value left to humans lies almost entirely in preserving the conversational context, clarifying the judgment process, keeping responsibility fully traceable, and serving as the anchor of accountability. And to do that, we need a flawless, permanent record of context. I want to bring this directly to you for a second. Picture your own daily setup at work. Think about your Slack channels or your Teams messages. You know, those quick digital back and forths where you and your colleagues hash out the really hard choices. Are the contexts of your decisions preserved as sturdy guideposts, or are they incredibly fragile, written in that water-soluble ink, just waiting to be erased by some routine 90-day auto-delete policy? To leave you with an unfinished thought to truly ponder, I want to present a final, unresolved scenario that builds directly on Yoshida's observations. Imagine a future, and honestly, this could be just a few years from now, where a highly advanced, totally well-meaning AI is integrated into your company's IT infrastructure. Its primary directive? To optimize your servers and reduce cloud storage costs. This AI logically scans through years of your company's chat history. It determines that all your meandering human debates, the hesitations, the discarded alternative plans, even the thumbs up emojis, it flags them all as unnecessary context because they don't materially change the text of the final output. So, meticulously cleaning the back door, it automatically purges your entire conversational history to save server space. You're left with these pristine final outputs, but your human context? Completely erased. In our blind corporate pursuit of digital efficiency, we might actually be building the very tools that bulldoze our only remaining value. Think about it. If the AI gets to decide what context is worth keeping, who is actually in charge of accountability? We started this explainer by looking at a government IT failure, but the real danger might be when the IT works exactly as efficiently as we ask it to. I'm going to leave this deeply unsettling, unresolved question hanging right here for you to grapple with. Keep questioning the scaffolding of your digital world.